On the 15th of this month, it will be 4 years since I became executor of a friend's will. We were roommates for a while, we were friends for even longer. He was a traumatized Vietnam veteran, if that's not being redundant. He served on a riverboat on the MeeKong, which is one of the reasons why I didn't care for the movie Apocalypse Now. He'd lived the real thing. So, even though these are my words and my voice, this is his story, a true story. And some technical notes. Brevet is short for brevet promotion, that's a rank that's bestowed temporarily. And Louis is Army slang for a lieutenant. This is another incident on the MeeKong. The sampan's crew looks so nervous. My lieutenant says what he always says when we stop a boat. That's good. If they had something to hide, they'd be trying to look calm. He's kept us alive this long, so whenever we stop a boat, the more scared they look, the less scared I feel. Years later, I will read Catch-22 by Joseph Heller. The lieutenant was ahead of his time. Before we board, I leave the M16 and borrow Stonekiller's 10 and 10. That's a 10-gauge pump shotgun with a 10-inch bayonet and a solid wood stock. That's a proper weapon. You can blast, slash, and bash. At the sampan's hatch, he orders me down the ladder first. I hope that other crew is really nervous. At the bottom, I peer into the impenetrable blackness. "Make a hole," calls the lieutenant. I step forward out of the little shaft of light into the deep dark. I can't see a thing. The lieutenant drops to the deck behind me. I reach for the flashlight, clipped to my flak jacket. Several things happen at the same time. I hear a sound behind me that I don't recognize. That's because I'd never heard someone beheaded by a machete. Something warm splashes my back. I turn on the flashlight. All around I see reflections. Wide eyes, bared teeth, moving blades. Before the second thump of the lieutenant falling on the deck, my carefully trained modern tactical assessment has analyzed the situation and come to a conclusion. I am so dead. Then something from my remote Viking ancestry bellows, "But they will pay dearly for my life," and I've become a berserker. Nearly blind with rage and fear, I'm whirling around, attacking in all directions at once, blasting, slashing, bashing, feeling the blows on my armor, shouting words I don't recognize. Perhaps they are Old Norse. While some tiny rational corner of my mind steers me toward that single shaft of light that now seems so far away. How did this sampan suddenly become a mile long? I'm fighting at the ladder. I'm fighting up the ladder. I'm on the weather deck, shooting down into the hatch. The shotgun clicks, empty. I toss it aside, draw the .45, and fire until it clicks too. No one pursues. Standing on the deck, shaking, panting, in the sudden quiet there's the patter of raindrops. Looking down, I see a red circle forming around my feet. Years later, I will convert to Wicca and learn about the casting of the Circle of Protection. For now, I'm just grateful to the lowest bidder that made my jacket. Looking up and around, I feel bewildered. Was the sky always so blue? The sun always so warm and yellow? The jungle, so many vivid shades of green. Even the muddy water is a collection of rich shades of brown. It smells like fertile soil. It gurgles softly past the two boats. "Hey man, you back yet?" Someone's talking at me. Oh, it's $2. I recognize him from my time in the world of the living. "You okay, man?" I begin to grasp the idea that I'm not in Valhalla. I'm in that other place that starts with V. I turn off the flashlight and shuck the jacket. It plops wetly on the deck. I confirm what I already know. Not a scratch. "The lieutenant?" I shake my head. "Shouldn't we bring him up?" Then I remember the last I saw of our leader, stepping over him at the base of the ladder. I look to Stonekiller. He's got the strongest stomach. "You better do it." As he warily approaches the hatch, I add, "You'll have to make 2 trips. He rolls his eyes. Once below, I hear him repeating, "Jesus Christ." While Stonekiller is apparently meeting the Messiah, I have a sudden thought. What happened to the other crew? Went over the side at the first sound of trouble. Would have picked him off in the water. We were covering the hatch. Didn't expect to see you come out. Me neither. When Stonekiller brings up the body, the new kid starts to turn green. You haven't lived until you see the black guy turn green. On the second trip, when he emerges looking like Salome's delivery boy, the kid bends over the rail and pukes in the river. After we bag the lieutenant, Stone says, "There's 20 dead Kong down there. That should be good for a medal and maybe even a promotion." "It was a lieutenant," I blurt out. They stare at me. I think fast. "When we were ambushed, he ordered me back up the ladder first. He fought them off so I could get out. I only got the last one, or maybe two, I'm not sure." Stonecolor gives me a look. "That's your story?" I take a moment to review it. That's what goes in the log. Everybody knows if it's in the log, that's what happened. We radio in the field report. Better make the body count 21. If we say 20, they'll think we got careless and just estimated. Then another close call. HQ wants to field promote one of us. A boat has to have an officer, that's the regulation. The lieutenant always treated me as his second in command, so now I'm in severe danger of being first. Luckily, he never formalized it, so I'm able to talk them into a brevet. I don't have to be an officer until the taxpayer sends us a fresh one. Later, Stonekiller takes me aside for a private chat. I took a look at that mess down there before I moved the Louie's body. He never fired his rifle or pistol. What'd he do, fight him off with bare hands? I shrug. Pretty neat trick, especially considering the gooks with shotgun and bayonet wounds. I can tell he won't leave this alone until he gets an answer. The lieutenant was a decent guy with friends and family. All that I've left of him is a folded flag, a stone at Arlington, and the story of how he died. You want that story to be, he died for nothing? Stone gives me that look again. We're all dying for nothing. All the more reason. He sighs. "Okay, but I warn you, Lieutenant." I make a face and he grins. "If you buy it, I'm going to make an official report of your last stand and make Davy Crockett look like a pussy." Fair enough. Thank you.